She's just so cute. I have to touch her. But yeah, Myers. Whose turn is it to storytell?
I don't know. To be fair, I did not go back and rewatch the movie, so
No, I
I've
didn't
got
either.
I the our we'll just give them what we know. So Myers has been described as evil incarnate. Didn't he stab somebody as a kid?
His
Like,
sister
wasn't
Judith.
that okay? So he stabbed the kid as a kid, and they hauled him off, and they pretty much decided like this guy is just he's evil for the sake of being evil. There's no good in him at all. And he escaped in his little underoos. He killed a guy in his car and took his jumpsuit. And then he started stalking Laurie. And it was for some reason he didn't just like go straight for her. He just kind of followed her and then killed all of her friends who were just making stupid decisions. Uh as well as, Laurie just like constantly being like, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Nobody's out there. Nobody's staring in this house. Nobody's out killing people. And then finally she's, after everybody's fucking dead and the kid she's been babysitting has told her for like the millionth time that there's this dude in a jumpsuit and a mask and a knife standing out on the corner. He finally comes after her, and then she goes into a room, shuts a door, slams her whole body into the door to listen to it. Oh my god, just the amount of stupid shit that Laurie did. Like, she got through that by pure Michael-based mercy, I swear to God.
She stabbed him with a hanger.
Oh, thanks for visiting from TikTok. This is our dead talk. We try to decide what survivors would survive in a horror movie with the killers, and we decided to do Michael today since yesterday was Halloween.
Yes. Uh,
Um, but yeah, Lori just like it was just sheer stupid shit after stupid shit. Like she got the knife.
I'll say she stabbed him with a coat hanger, a knitting
Yeah.
needle, a knife.
And then she assumed he was dead and left him with the knife. It's like, get the weapon away from him. We're just doing the original movie Michael, not the stuff that falls after. Uh, because apparently it gets real convoluted. Because I
Real,
had a lot
real
of
weird.
unhappy people showing up for my Lori video, so we're just gonna pretend that those other movies didn't happen. I can't take that kind of heat. Lori is the toxic friend who refuses to admit there's a problem until it affects them. Yeah, but to be fair, she was babysitting that one kid, and that kid did make it.
True. She is the best babysitter.
So as long as you are technically in her care, you'll be okay. But
True.
yeah, he took some punishment. I did see a confirmation from the director saying that Michael is not immortal.
Right.
He's just very persistent.
Yes. Um, Another really interesting fact. So a couple weeks ago, I ended up on a version of TikTok where somebody was doing a whole analysis of Halloween. And something they pointed out that I never really thought of before is so
Thanks for visiting.
Michael killed his sister when he was 6. And
Mhm.
then Halloween is taking place 15 years after that.
Yeah.
So he is only 21 years old
Mhm.
during the events. And I never thought of that. And they were like, if you consider it, because I'm going to alienate a large portion of our audience. 21 is still can be very immature at times.
Yeah.
And one of the scenes that they pointed out to show that, like, yeah, he's still a goofy little 20 something is when he kills Laurie's friend's boyfriend
Uh-huh.
and then takes his glasses and then he apparently like goes through the house, finds a spare sheet, cuts some holes into it, puts it over his head as a sheet ghost, then puts the guy's glasses over that. Like he didn't have to go through all of that. But he was
Yeah.
just like, it would be really funny if I I dress up as a sheik ghost to go stab this bitch. And I was like, I was listening to this TikTok, I was like, you know what, you're right. Like,
Yeah.
if I think about it, like, that's something minus the actual murder part, but that is absolutely the sense of humor that my brother would have had when he was 21. And I was like, that checks out. Like,
Yeah. And also, he spent a lot of time in like the asylum, and he
Bye, have a great
number
time.
one, he's built because he can straight up just one arm lift somebody off the ground,
right.
which like that is a feat in and of
I know we're
itself.
focusing on the first movie only, but the trailer for the new movie, like, he's literally just like picking up and throwing full grown firemen in full
Yeah.
equipment. Like,
Well, this is he's had time to mature, I guess. Because I'm assuming since like I've seen pictures of Lori, so she's
it's been
obviously
40 years.
older.
It's been 40
Yeah.
years.
So it's like, okay, so you go from 5-year-old that was able to kill their sister to 21-year-old lifting somebody off of the ground with one hand to 40 years later of that kind of like musculature and work.
He's just
Like
always working out.
dude's just built like a truck, man.
So I just have to say, David stands no chance.
Yeah, David's gonna like try and stand off, and like Michael's not even gonna move. Just intimidation check, just passed. Like Michael's so like has so much oomph to him that it like it's a David inside of a David to get within like a pinky finger's worth of strength.
We need to have a D&D with the big bad evil guy inspired by Myers.
We ought to just play a D&D game as some of the DBD killers, just see what happens.
That would be hilarious. They go up
Uh,
against the entity.
yeah. With our luck, though, Alex would end up being Deathslinger, who's supposed to be like our smart guy, and he just rolls straight ones, and it's like, God damn it!
Who had Hellwagon?
uh, shit. Let me pull up the list of killers. Let's see who he would end up doing.
Because my gut instinct says clown, just so he could be drunk the whole time.
Uh,
But also, if Max joined us, Max would call clown instantly, and he
yeah,
wouldn't have a chance.
I could see him going for Oni.
Yes, actually, you
He
know
does.
what?
He does try to play the aloof character on a regular basis.
And the kind that can just, like, I'm thinking of his Minotaur character,
Yeah,
and obviously there's also
like
a Minotaur Oni skin, but
I could see him going Blight or Oni
you
if we're
would play
being
Plague, wouldn't
realistic.
you, or Huntress?
I don't know. I might do Wraith. I love Wraith. He's a cute little boy. And I wouldn't be communicating with you in words. I would just have a bell over here
That's yeah, that checks out for you.
playing with little chimes.
I like that.
Like I would
But
like to
he
make
would
an
be a
attempt to communicate.
he would be a bard. Wraith would be a bard. I think I would want to do like the Legion, but like
Or Ghostface. I
somehow
would love
be
to
able
do
to be all
Ghostface.
four. Like multi-classing somehow and be like, when I'm Susie, I'm a
You
bard.
just you just tag in. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
fog. Just like Frank, we don't want to talk with you. Could we have Susie back? And he just like steps into the fog and Susie steps out and hi
No, it's really just one person and they switch masks.
guys. Just switches jacket, puts a new mask on.
Yes.
This is Frank.
It's really
Literally.
it's all Julie, but when they're Frank, they just like, this is Frank. It just lowers their voice.
We like ask you a question like, okay, do you think you want to go left or right? And you're just like, hold on, let me ask the others. And you just stand there and move around in a circle, switching masks and jackets.
It's just hey, yeah, anyway, yeah. But yeah. Oh, we got confirmation. Vox wants this to happen.
I'll have to ask the troops if they would be able to do this. We might be able to get Alex's sister to play, depending on the time.
Ooh, yes.
Although she might have to play a quiet character so her children don't know that we're sending people to heaven on the third hook.
Billy doesn't talk.
True.
Billy
She
just grunts.
just has to make the little like purring noises.
You're a huge D&D fan, Fox? Well, good news. On Sundays, normally, I mean, lately we've been swiffing because Alex has been finishing up school, but
Yeah,
on Zen's channel, Sundays are typically actually Dungeons and Dragons night. So,
yeah, it's supposed to be.
yes.
We would have to work out who's going to be the DM though, because
I know.
that's always the challenge. But I
Yes,
do like the
really.
system we are playing before.
I did like that system, yes. My brain still really struggles with it, but I'm
I'm
getting there. And I
yeah,
like the flexibility of it.
I do too.
I just also need structure to understand things. So like it's difficult. It's a love hate because I'm just like I really like this. I know it can be great, but I'm dumb. So it
We
doesn't
might
work.
gonna say we might need to find a system that lets us be a little bit more bonkers. Like, how 3.5, I literally had enough jump in Lucille that we could cast Featherfall and we could fly on her.
Yes, I really actually love 3.5 still. I
Like
love it.
when you get enough points into it, like you can get real crazy with it. But I'll ask Alex. He obsesses over all of this stuff, and I'm sure him and Hellwagon have had a lot to talk this stuff over, and I'm sure they could figure something out that would work for this.
Oh yeah. Your
So
main character's a halfling wizard, in quotes, a sus wizard. Yeah, so it is always up to the DM of what happens. But yeah.
I was gonna say we could also have everybody has like 3 or 4 killers that they can cycle through so that we can have everybody. It's like all right, draw a card. Okay, I got Wraith and Doctor, Spirit, and Demo. And then, we have to figure out who's going out today.
Demo would be so fun. Could
Make
you
the make
could you
make the
imagine
chat vote.
could you imagine if you're just like if I played demo, I would want them to be some sort of a detective
Oh my god. Alex,
to
yes, you were being summoned.
to just be able to just like have a really high investigation check
Yes.
as demo. Like and demo
Literally gonna
wears a
be
monocle.
Demo Dog.
Yes, with a monocle.
Your investigation, you just put the monocle on and then just start sniffing the ground and following the trail.
With the little pedals.
Alex, we were discussing playing why did you awaken me from my lamp? Um we have an odd request here. Apparently chat would really like to have us play D&D, but play the killers from DBD, which would obviously require a system that's got some really bonkers shit to be able to do. Um so I had mentioned your name because I'm like, I'm pretty sure between Alex and Hellwagon, they would probably be able to like nail down a system that would allow that to happen.
Oh
And then
yeah.
we'd have to figure out who would be the DM for that shit. And then with how many killers there are, be like, okay, so one person gets like 4 of the killers, and then the chat gets to so DBD and D. Yes, that's what we're going for. Dead by Dungeons and Dragons. Um, and then figuring out who would be able to DM this monster of a thing.
If we rotated.
Oh Jesus, that would be fun. Except that we would have to have a very good understanding of the rules, or just
Yeah.
how I kept rolling, where I was like, I don't understand the rules, but I'm gonna make it like I do. I'm gonna play pretend. I know what I'm doing. Believe me. Uh, I'm sure I could turn this into a board game of sorts.
Ooh.
Go build us a system, baby. Build us a system and come back. All right, this
Well,
is your obsession for the week. Build us a D&D game that is based entirely around the DBD killers. Peas and carrots. Love you much.
including licensed killers.
Including licensed killers, yes. And then everybody's got their pool of characters and just put up in chat like, "Okay, who's Dino playing today?"
Perfect.
Whoever gets Myers just never fucking plays anybody else because Robin's always there. Robin starts to lose, and then Robin just calls in every single person. Like, I need you to get on right now and vote for Myers. Just
um,
have that little sound bite of the every time you ask somebody a question.
we'll make like pre-made character sheets for all of them.
Hmm.
That way it's easiest to pass it around. Um,
So we got sidetracked.
we did by a
um,
lot.
yeah, just right off the cliff. he's he's going into lurk mode. I assume that means good things.
Good, good, good.
So, uh, coming back to our dead talk. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think we kind of covered it. Like very strong individual who can take a lot of blows. He was stabbed by a coat hanger. Uh, I don't like from how he reacted to that. I really don't think it hurt him that bad. I think
Yeah.
that since we mentioned the sheet ghost, he was just fucking with her at that point.
I
Like,
think he was one surprised that she actually fought back because the others didn't really put up much of a fight.
yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I could also see him just acting.
Like, oh no, I died to a coat hanger.
Vanishes with a knife.
Yeah.
um,
Because it ended up being her that survives. The kid she was babysitting, she got to safety. And then wasn't there like a cop or a dude that was from the asylum that was like
his
coming
doctor,
with
yeah.
her? Yeah.
Yeah, his doctor has been trailing him down ever since he escaped.
Hmm.
A really bad job of it,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
what
he
he's
made
just
an effort.
trying to do. Um, uh, I had some thoughts. I just want to throw them out there.
Yeah.
These can happen in any sort of order. Um, for Last Survivor, I really want Lori. Obviously,
She's made it this far.
it would feel wrong for her to die to him.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a very severe injustice to the lore. And then I also thought about it. I really want a scene of Michael and Ash fighting
Yeah.
where Michael just literally rips the chainsaw off of Ash's arm
See,
and kills him with it.
I absolutely imagine that he would have an encounter with Ash. Just like Michael's in a house stalking somebody and Ash just walks in and goes, "So I heard everyone keeps calling you daddy. I too have been called daddy before." I can just see him coming in. That's the start of the fight.
Robin Robin says that they're fighting over them, obviously. Um
Uh,
Robin also says they both win, but no. So
they're
sorry.
fighting out in a yard. Somebody's sprinkler goes off. Everybody gets wet.
Oh, I also thought about it. So on the map Haddonfield, there's 7 houses, I think.
Hmm.
Um, so we can pick some people who just like already live on the street
True.
easily enough to get some people placed. And then we can have ones who don't live on the street who are maybe just like visiting friends. So like obviously Lori lives in the Strode house. Um, but the teens could be hanging out at her place. Like,
Mhm. Yeah, my last survivor, I had Lori and Tap.
oh, interesting.
So I figured if anybody's gonna be tracking Michael, like from beginning to end, it was probably gonna be Tap.
You know what? He would fill that role very well. You're right.
And then first Ed, I had just the entire teen squad because that's just how it goes in those movies. Like you're friends with Lori, she's technically not babysitting you.
Just all of them.
Yep, just one at a time. But technically, the teen squad's just Lori is currently babysitting Victor because she got along with Charlotte really well. So Charlotte's out having a night by herself.
Everyone, when they die, she can call the cops, and then we introduce Jill and Leon. That can work. Okay. Am I missing anybody from the teen squad?
Uh,
It's those six, right?
let's see. Lori, Fung, Quentin, Nancy, Steve, Cheryl. I think that's it.
Okay.
We haven't quite figured out where Michaela's going to fit in on all this.
I know this is her first episode, so we could figure that out today.
Yeah.
But order of death. So I imagine they're all hanging out at Lori's.
Mhm.
It's Halloween,
Yes.
obviously, and they're gonna watch some scary movies or some shit.
Mhm.
Quentin goes to make popcorn.
Nobody notices that he's gone.
Quentin never returns.
The only thing, like, they're literally like, he's like, I'm gonna go make popcorn. And he goes to go make popcorn and he doesn't come back, but like, they just casually like, does anybody notice that Quentin got hot recently? They're like, did he ever hang out with us before, or is this his first time?
No, as soon as he leaves the room, Steve's just like, "That's Quentin, right?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." And Steve's just like, "Dude looks fucking hot." Like, Nancy just like slaps Steve, like, "We're together again. You can't call other people hot." So he goes to make popcorn. He never comes back. It's like an hour later, and then somebody's just like, "Wasn't Quentin supposed to bring in some popcorn? Where'd he go?" Um,
Nancy's getting real like jealous that Steve complimented Quentin, so have to have the mandatory teenage bang session that ends in death.
because he's gonna make it up to her.
Yeah. Cheryl's just been standing by the window and she's like, I think there's a guy out there. Lori's like, no. And then Quentin like goes away and then she watches the guy leave. She's like, he just walked away. Quentin hasn't been back. Yeah, I know. And there's this guy. He's back again. Like, okay, we're gonna go upstairs and have some fun, guys. The guy just walked away again. Like Cheryl's just calling it, and then just like Lori's just like, no, he's not there. Every time she looks out the window, no, he's not there. And Cheryl's just like,
Yes, this is set on Halloween night. So Lukey says old Quentin leaves to make popcorn, and hot Quentin comes back, and everyone's like,
ah!
"Who the fuck is this guy?" Which I do like that idea, but I think I'm gonna stick with he goes to make popcorn and just never comes back.
Yeah,
So I think after Quentin leaves, Steve makes the comment of like, "Dude's fucking hot now," and then Nancy's just like, "How dare you?"
yeah.
And then Steve's like, "You're still the only one for me," and then they
I
leave.
love, I love that mask emote.
Ooh, mask
I
emote.
love the, I love the mask. The mask is like one of my favorite comics of all time, and I love the movie.
I have not seen the movie in like years.
I love the movie. Obligatory sex and death. It's double penetration, but not in the way that you think. It's just the knife goes through both of them.
Oh no. Um, So if Cheryl's looking out the window watching,
Mhm.
I think Fung could be the one that's just like, Quinn's been gone for a while. I'm gonna go check on him.
Cheryl's like, he's walking away again. There's nobody out there. My
Lori's just
God.
like, will you sit down and watch the movie? I don't want to have to rewind it just because you missed it. They
Oh yeah, because they'd have
would.
VCRs.
They would. Back in the olden days. Um, how are we gonna kill Cheryl?
She goes to like call the police, but the line's cut, and she's like, Lori, your line's cut. Lori's like, it's probably just an issue with the phone company. Welcome back. And she's like, I'm gonna go across the street and call. And she makes the call, but you know,
It,
Miguel is right behind her.
she makes the call and she's like, I can't leave Lori alone. So she starts to go back, and then Miguel catches her before she gets back into
Yes.
the house.
Yes. Okay, so the way this works is so our killer is Michael today. So we go through the full list of survivors and figure out who's going to be the first ones to die. So we got our first dead up here, which we do have a bit of a head canon because we've got the teen squad, we got the bro squad. Uh the cops always travel together for the most part. And we just try and figure out how they would die, the order that they would die, and whether or not anybody would make it out alive.
So we're starting off with killing all teenagers.
Yeah, we're just killing the teenagers.
Everyone was, they're all friends. Everybody's hanging out at Lori's place for Halloween watching a scary movie. Quentin goes to make popcorn, dies.
And to be fair, like we tend to have with Cheryl a very like she seems to have like a low fuck like capacity since we've been like making her in these little movies that we have.
She's been through so much worse than anything Dead by Daylight can do to her.
Yeah, like in the face of death, she's just like, all right, well, I'll be back. Like she's been through the ringer and she remembers a lot of it. Like as she come like every time she comes back, like even if she dies, it's usually not an instance of like she's screaming or makes a mistake. It's just like she kind of accepts that it's going to happen. She's seen a lot of shit and she's not going to be like screaming and running, like scream queening or anything. Usually she dies like completely on accident,
True.
but it's never like screaming or anything. But Michael has this ability that even if you are running like full speed, somehow he
He
power
just,
walks
I would
after
say he
you.
walks so fast.
Yeah, dude has got legs for days. He's got what you don't see is when the camera cuts away, he's got those little skate shoes. He just goes and wheelies down the road.
Oh, I forget that. That one song from Drag Race a couple of years ago. Every day is leg day.
Mhm.
um. All right. So Cheryl managed to
Mhm.
call the cops. She went back to Lori so that Lori wouldn't be alone, but she got intercepted by Michael along the way.
Yes.
So Jill and Leon, resident police, are going to be stopping into the Strode residence.
And Lori's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, there's not been an issue. They're
Nothing.
like, do you mind if I come in and look around? And they just find dead bodies
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh God.
They go upstairs. They see Steve and Nancy are both dead on the bed. Quentin has literally got a fistful of popcorn and he's just dead. But they immediately forget about him.
Poor Quentin. Because Fung's there and she deserves more attention.
Yeah.
Um I do really love Quentin. I wish his movie was better.
Yeah.
because I do. He's very endearing.
Yeah, he was a sweetheart.
Um,
Yeah, they're just finding bodies everywhere, and Lori's just like, I didn't know. Oh my god, how did this happen?
this, Lori seems really suspicious now.
She really does. Like, they're about ready to like, all right, we're this child away from you right now, and we're gonna have to take you to the station.
We're gonna have to call Victor's sister.
Yeah, because like Jill and Leon are more modern, so they're probably like, yeah. Nobody's this dumb and unobservant,
So,
even though she's got like a record of just being really unobservant.
so we have 6 other houses on Lambkin Lane that we can fill with some people for
Yes.
him to stalk and kill.
So
We could put the
obviously
bros.
the bro squad.
Yeah. I vote they go to the House of Pain.
Sounds about right.
They're just chilling in the basement. I think I've seen kegs down there before.
They're
So,
just playing poker.
Arango, help, welcome. Thank you for stopping by.
I feel like Michaela and Elodie would probably end up being friends.
Oh, they would get along 100%. Talking about all
Yeah.
the spooky shit.
Yeah. I feel like she keeps dragging Felix in. Like Felix is like that guy that like he was able to briefly separate himself from Elodie, but like he keeps getting sucked back in. Like they never dated, but he still gets like dragged in like he was her ex or something. Just keeps getting pulled back.
I love that for him,
What's
though.
what is the nicest house in the entire neighborhood? Because that's where Yunjin's living.
And they're all pretty much identical. It's one of those neighborhoods. And thank you for the look, Arango.
Meg doesn't live there, she just jogs there.
Oh my god, May gets caught jogging. Um, hold on. So Elodie lives there, Michaela's visiting, and Felix, of course. So that's a group.
hmm
Who
I could see
else?
Claudette like hanging out with Adam because they seem like they're very quiet people. I feel like they'd get along really well.
Claudette, Jake, and Adam.
Actually, yeah. They're trying to convince Jake to like stop living outdoors.
Claudette's like, I have an extra room upstairs.
And Adam is introducing him to indoor plumbing.
And Jake's just like, listen, I don't want to live in this capitalist society.
It's like I've shit in bushes cleaner than this.
How many houses? That's one, two, that's three. We have 3 more houses that we can fill up.
Okay, let's see. I feel like Yunjin would live alone if
Oh,
she
wait.
could. She might have a roommate though.
So Dwight, we can have, so House of Pink could belong to one of the guys, and
I feel
Dwight
like
can be there with them. Or,
Dweet and David just own the house.
no, well, here's my thought. So, yes, either Dwight and David own the house, and they're obviously together. So Dwight would be with the bros. Or they own a different house. David's off with the bros, and Dwight's hanging out with someone else, Kate
Okay.
and Jane.
He's invited Kate and Jane over.
So we could do that.
Maybe they bring Yui too. I feel like Yui could.
Yeah, we could use some friends. This can happen
You know.
right next door to Yunjin's house.
Oh God. We should put the bro squad next to Yunjin's house because she's like gonna constantly call the cops on him or knock on the door, tell him to shut the fuck up.
Dwight and Michaela could be fun roommates. Ooh, that could be a good one for next time.
So I feel like if you've got like a very like scared or a friend that's not very confident, and then you're like, hey, let me introduce you to this person that might be able to give you some tips. And I feel like Sweet's on one side of the spectrum and Yui's way over on the other side, and it's like Like, you just look at Yui and you have to nut up.
Let's see. One, two, three, four. Yunjin's in her own house, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Five.
technically, we could have her have like a roommate, like Zarina or something.
We could do that.
So I don't think Zarina would get in the way, and like she would kind of leave Yunjin alone, but not like Zarina just doesn't seem like she would antagonize Yunjin. At the very worst, she might be trying to like get a story. Like I heard that she survived a guy that was killing everybody. She's trying to get the inside scoop.
So that leaves us with not Tap because he's an outsider. He's just following Michael. That
Oh yeah,
leaves us with
he'll freak out.
Bill and Nia.
Bilbo Baggins and Nia. I feel like Nia probably like worked at a supermarket and Yunjin yelled at her and she's here to tag the
I love that.
she's come for the Karen.
That is great. So then we can just give the last house like it's at the end of the street. It's old man Bill's house.
Mhm,
Everybody knows not to go on the lawn. Michael actually steps on the lawn. Bill comes out to yell at him and dies.
mhm. It's like, what's gonna win, a shotgun or Michael?
Michael.
Surprise, surprise. It's Michael.
All right. Now, this doesn't have to be the order. I just wanted to get them color coordinated, grouped up, etc. So, oh yeah, and Meg and Nia. So Meg is out jogging.
Bill's gonna come from outside his house with a shotgun after hearing scream.
Meg can get murked right outside of Bill's house and just tossed onto the lawn. Not tagging Nia's, tagging Yunjin's place. Okay, so the cops are talking to Lori, and then right outside we can have Meg getting just destroyed, right?
Yes. Like trying to find a clip of like the amazing clothesline. Oh, where is it? I know I can find it. Yeah. Hold on. Of course it's from wrestling cuz I am a big wrestling fan. Just Meg's out there jogging and just here comes Pap.
All right.
So, we've got the bro squad. They're downstairs playing poker. They're drunk as fuck. Our bro squad is Ash, Ace, Jeff, and David. So they're out there being rowdy. They live right next to Yunjin and Zuri.
I think Yunjin's the only one who would actually care enough to go yell at them.
Zarina probably has like a nice pair of headphones. Like
Yeah.
they've lived there long enough that she just got noise canceling headphones and she's fine. But Yunjin is like banging on the door like, "You motherfuckers better keep it down. I swear to God." And they're just like they give no fucks. They're not
They
even answering the
I
door
was like they
anymore. She
can't
knocks so often.
they can't even hear her. They're down in the basement, like music's blaring. They're all drunk as shit. Like
Every once in a while, you just hear a chainsaw rev and a bunch of like it's like Girls Gone Wild, except it's just the boys going woo.
what are they doing with the chainsaw? Up to your imagination. um I mean, so if Yunjin's gonna be outside, she can get caught on her way back to her place.
Yeah.
I could see her actually just like walking back, and Michael's just there in the middle of the sidewalk, just standing. And she literally just stops and she's like, "Excuse you, get out of my way." And he just doesn't move. And she actually goes to like push him out of the way because she has the balls.
Or she just sees him standing across the street watching her, and she's like one of those people that like
What the fuck are
yells at
you
people
looking
on
at?
yells at people on the street like, "Go get a job, you deadbeat!" Like, and he just doesn't fucking move. And then she's like, "Are you trying to intimidate me? Oh my god!" And just like crosses the street to like go fight with him, just
In the
argue with
movie,
him.
in the movie version, it's actually close up of like her shoes, like her heels, just click, 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 click across the street.
Like, she doesn't have any like weapons on her. Like, I can imagine that she's got the nice nails. Like, she could use those fuckers as shanks. But
But
like
it's
he's
not
not like
enough.
Michael's not even doing anything. Michael's standing across the street watching. She yells at him like, "Go get a fucking job. Stop looking at me." And then she's like she immediately goes to he's trying to intimidate me and goes across the street to go argue with him and tell him to fuck off. And Michael just sits there. Like I can just imagine her just like going straight Karen on him. Like right like she's chest height on him. And he's just like looking down, hanging out for a while, and then just like after a certain point he just stabs her.
Again, outside of Bill's house.
Bill's just sitting there like, not my lawn, not my problem.
No, I was imagining it was Bill's lawn.
What if they did it like just on the sidewalk, like just outside? And Bill's just sitting there like, I've been waiting for something bad to happen to that bitch since I moved here.
I
So
imagine
Bill just
he's lived there longer than she has.
Bill just like Michael turns and looks at Bill. Bill just like gives him a little tilt of the hat because he's not on his lawn and he just took care of an issue for him.
Oh man. Okay.
And
Um
Serena has no idea that any of this has just happened.
yeah, Zarina's clueless. She's you know when you're in the zone editing, you hate it, but you're just like focused and you're like, I'm not gonna do fucking anything else, and you're just like
Yeah.
that's Zarina right now. Um
I feel like that's like Michael would see her in the window and be like, mental, come back.
Perfect.
He's making a mental to do list and someone has just entered in.
I think hearing Meg scream before she gets choked and stabbed, and also Yunjin screaming when she gets stabbed,
Hmm.
would pique the interests of our sleuths, Elodie and Michaela.
Yeah.
Definitely Elodie, and I think Michaela would be 100% on board. It'd be like, yeah, what was that scream? Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Um, Also, which of these houses would have been the one that Cheryl went to? I feel like Elodie
I
and
feel like it would have been
Michaela's.
just like across the street. Uh,
Elodie, Michaela, Felix, Claudette, Jake, and Adams seem like the most reliable options.
yeah. But then again, Felix would probably have a cell phone. Sure, it would have been a brick back then, but just
Um,
like that way if the phone line is cut everywhere, she's just like, "Can I borrow your brick?"
so
And he's
she,
just like he's just carrying like a little the giant cell phone holder.
so she could have stopped it at their place. So when they hear a scream and they already know that Cheryl's been over to call the cops, they're
Yep.
totally interested.
Yes.
They're gonna go out and see what's happening. Spot two bodies just lying on the sidewalk in front of Bill's place.
And honestly, I mean, knowing Cheryl, Elodie and Michaela have probably been itching to have a chance to like poke her. And she's already dead. Might as well go through her pockets. because she's definitely gotta have, like, some sort of artifact. Like,
I was
she's just got a wad of Pyramid Head panties in her back pocket or something.
I was talking about Megan Yunjin.
Oh, okay.
I imagine Cheryl died over closer to the Strode house.
Disregard then.
Okay. I was really confused for a second, sorry. Because Megan and Yunjin were killed outside of Bill's place.
Yeah.
So if they see that, that would give them reason to be like, why are their bodies here, William?
Mm.
One of them steps
Well,
on the lawn.
oh, no. Yeah, he's just like, "Yeah, some dude in a jumpsuit and a mask." And they're like, "And you didn't do anything?" He's like, "Sorry, but he didn't step on my property. Law says I can only defend if he steps on my property.
Felix
Sorry."
Felix can go white knight and be like, "Are
And
you serious?"
he goes, "White knight, brown panties," the moment that that shotgun cocks.
Do we want Bill to kill Felix?
Doesn't need to kill him, but he could hurt him.
Okay.
You know, he only blows off a foot.
uh, sure.
And, you know, they send him over to Claudette, Jake, and Adam because, you know, Claudette likes botany. Jake has lived in the wilderness. Surely he knows how to do something. And Adam just looks responsible.
Adam's just so smart.
So those three end up taking care of Felix and putting that foot on ice for now.
All right.
Whatever's left of it. So,
Felix is pretty much out of commission. Okay.
yeah, he's out of commission. Well, he, you know, another to do.
Well, we'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Nia's outside tagging Yunjin's place, so she
Yeah.
could easily get nabbed at any point.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
We could have that now, or we can save it for later.
Nia saw that happen. So she's tagging Yunjin's house with like Michael's mask, like the recreation of what happened. Michael just comes over and lets her finish and then stabs her.
Perfect.
He sits there, he admires the work. It's a really, really good picture. It's it's truly captured the moment. But, you know, gotta stab somebody, huh?
We're just here to clear out the neighborhood.
Hey, Zolty.
All right. The boys are making a lot of noise. We can have him go visit them.
The boys are like, they have TV on. They've been watching shows, and like the evening news comes up, which is how Ash catches wind of Michael.
The news of
Oh, thanks
some
for the host.
some dude escaped the asylum, and now
Yes.
he's suspected to be in Haddonfield. And then
Mm-hmm.
Ash proposes, "Let's go find him."
Yes, let's go vigilante on his ass. He's just like, all right, guys, let's do this. It just locks the chainsaw arm into place, gets the shotgun on his back. Ace gets the mace that he's collected over the years of getting it in his eyes.
Secondhand
David's
ace or
David
secondhand
just
mace.
takes his shirt off. He's ready to go.
Jeff is carrying the beer.
Yeah. He's literally got a keg strapped to his back and a couple of hoses.
uh, so they could go
Uh,
find him. I think David would probably actually be the first one to be. They'd be like, "There he is," and then David's just like on it.
they yeah, like they see him from across the street and David just like starts running, like barreling towards him. Michael's just watching him come and just like he literally runs into the and
Just gets
Michael just
grabbed,
grabs him by
lifted,
the
and
neck. It's literally like the most graceful thing you've ever
it's
seen.
like the scene from Dirty Dancing
Mhm.
at the end when they're doing their performance together and he lifts her up and they
Yeah,
spin for a moment.
he just catches him by the neck, digs the knife into the abdomen, puts him up in the air, spins him around before slamming him on the ground. Which I think that would make Ace hesitate. Like they were running, Ace has now slowed down to let the other two pass. Let the man with the chainsaw
I,
hand go
I
first, you
think
know?
I think Jeff would also slow down.
Yeah.
This is how I think it's gonna happen. I think Jeff and Ace will slow down. Ash will be like, "I can take this," revving his chainsaw. We get the scene that I wanted, whereas Ash approaches with the chainsaw, Michael literally just grabs it and rips it off of his hand, and then just and just like chainsaws him right down the middle.
At least at least let me have the part where he walks over and he's like, "I heard a lot of people are calling you daddy. I too have been called daddy. Let's tango."
He does need his little witty one-liners.
He does.
At this point, so I think Jeff and Ace would have been mesmerized enough to, from a distance, watch.
Yeah.
But once Ash gets gutted by his own chainsaw, they will take off running. Poor Jeff
Yes.
is out of shape and carrying a keg on his back.
Yeah, he's got the entire keg. Like Michael can literally catch a hose, knock him over like a turtle.
So I think Jeff will be caught first.
Yes.
Because Power Walking Michael will. um, and then
Ace is gonna hide in a house, which I think he will go to where Dwight is because if that's their house, he's got a key.
yes, so he runs
So
away
he'll
to Dwight's.
yes. Also, if we look at who's left, Yui is probably the safest person to be with other
Fair,
than like Leon and Jill, and I feel like Ace would have a very bad relationship with police.
fair. Okay, so Ace runs over to Dwight, Kate, Jane, and Yui, and they are all the next targets, I guess, if Michael's just gonna follow him there.
Yeah. And
Meanwhile,
me
you mentioned them, Jill and Leon, I assume, are still interrogating Lori for like, how did you not know there were 4 dead bodies
yeah,
in your home?
they've been locked in this with Lori, like, because if you look at how everything's been happening, she seems like she could easily be the killer
Oh
because
yeah,
the bodies are in her house.
she
She
acted like she
swears
didn't
she
know
didn't see
anything.
anything.
Right.
Meanwhile, like Tap is watching all this stuff roll in. Like Zarina just got called into work and she opens her door and just dead bodies and police cars. And Tap has been watching this. He's got like that big board where he's got like strings everywhere, except it's just that street and he's just got the bodies and strings attached. He's like, "That's my guy, I know it."
So well, after Jeff, Zarina just comes out for work, and there's just bodies everywhere,
Yeah.
and then she gets caught and murdered.
Yeah, that works. Hi, magical panda.
All right. Ace runs off to Dwight's place to deliver the sad news that he is now a widower. Um,
He just like runs in, like unlocks the door, runs in, closes the door, locks everything. Dwight's sitting in the corner with the others, and he's like, "Hey, sad news. David's dead. Guy's coming. Save me." And Dwight's just like, "What? What? What?"
David's dead. Oh, man,
Oh god.
you are right though. Yui is the best option to be with.
Yeah.
Um, So Dwight's really focused on David being dead.
Yeah.
I think Kate would be comforting Dwight would be her priority. Jane and Yui's priority would be like, what do you mean a man is coming?
Yeah.
Who are we going to fight? Um
Yui's like taking shit out of the kitchen, like finding anything she can use as a weapon. Like she heard dude is coming and she's like, I've been through shit before. Uh
That's true.
let's get some weaponry going here.
Immediately goes and grabs the biggest knife she can find.
Yeah, she's got like a fire extinguisher, she's got a knife, she's got Kate's hairspray and a lighter. Like we've got everything we could throw together here,
Oh my
ready
gosh.
to go.
I kind of love this. I think they're all going to die, but I love the idea of Kate with the hairspray, Jane with the fire extinguisher, Yui with the knife, Dwight and
Ace
Ace just hunkered
Ace is
down in a closet like hiding.
Ace is hiding behind Yui.
Oh man. Yeah, Ace would not fight. Ace is just like, I saw Ash get
Yeah.
his chainsaw ripped off, but if you guys want to handle this, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, he's just got his mace out. It's the best he's got.
He accidentally
So,
maces everyone else.
oh my god.
That would be
Yeah, Dwight
terrible.
like Dwight is so like we just have like Myers breaks the door down, just kicks it down, and Dwight screams. But then like at the last second he's like, "No, I got to do this for David." And like he accidentally like Ace accidentally maces him in the face because he wasn't expecting Dwight to move like that.
Oh. And then since Dwight is maced and really can't fight, Michael gets him.
Yep. And they can't really, throw the chuck fire at him when Dwight's right there.
They can when he's dead.
And you throw Dwight at them.
Okay. All right. So they're gonna hold off until Dwight's dead, and then Yui's gonna be like, "Get him!" Like she'll be the one to call the shot.
I think that he will throw Dwight at them.
Oh
Like,
god.
just chuck him at him. And Yui gets out of the way. And
Okay.
Yui just goes to fight Michael like hand to hand. And she's gonna lose, but I feel like she gets a stab in. Like she's the first one to injure him the whole time. Like stabs him like straight in the shoulder, like barely misses like a good spot. And the knife is just like sticking out of him.
But then he chokes her
Yeah.
and guts her.
At which point Yui's just like in the choke, she's like, it's a hairspray. Like she knows she's going down. So Kate like lights him on fire and it does like stun him for a little bit.
It causes him to drop Yui, but she's already a goner,
Yeah.
and that
That
makes
might give
Kate his next target.
but if he's stunned from being on fire, that might be like that the other three can escape and go to the police.
Okay. So they run out to go find to go call the police, and they see a
Mhm.
cop car parked outside the Strode house.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
Bodies
obviously
all over
that
the
will
street.
that will shift the focus from Lori to that guy across the road.
The one on fire.
Yeah. At
Uh,
which point, like, Lori's like, okay, well, I need to leave this house. She's gonna go to like Grandpappy Bill's house.
Wait, who?
She might go to Bill's house.
That's,
You know, like the old guy usually has like that one kid that they're like they're all right.
yeah,
That's Lori. It's like
because she is well
she's not
behaved.
she's not really observant, but she doesn't do anything bad. Keeps like one of those little plastic stick popsicles. Like keeps them all in the fridge. And she's like, I'm a teenager. And he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't like popsicles."
Fair enough. Jill and Leon can go try to fight and die.
They go to confront Michael. Michael's not there. He's just gone.
We still have a lot of people alive.
We do.
This is too early for him to vanish. Plus, it needs
Well,
to be
he
Tap needs to be the one that at the end Michael's just
yeah,
vanished.
but he can vanish and go to somebody else's house, like Felix, Claudette, Jake, and Adam's house,
Okay.
because he needs to get himself fixed up. And he did see them take that one guy without a foot over there. So he just plows through Claudette, Jake, Adam, and Felix. Felix can't fight back. Claudette's not a fighter. Jake, I don't know. He might hit him with a stick or something.
So we're
Adam's trying to talk him down.
just killing all six of these real quick.
I thought Elodie and Michaela were outside.
No, they
I thought
took.
they dropped Felix off and like went out to go do some stuff.
Oh, I thought they were staying with Felix.
I felt like I assumed that Elodie and Michaela were like friends, so like Felix was almost a third wheel.
And like,
Elodie's upgraded, but I mean we could take out six. That's fine.
we keep it to the floor. Okay. So he's stunned. Kate, Ace, and Jane run off to go call some cops. They see the cop car at the Strode house. They go there. They're like, "There's a guy. He's killed
Hmm.
some people. We set him on fire. He's currently at our place." They go, but there he's gone. Turns out he went over to Claudette's, and because surely there's something there that can help him with the burns. But he also finds Felix, Claudette, Jake, and Adam and kills them all.
Yeah.
In the way of burn ointment.
Let's have him kill Ace.
Okay.
Like, let's have him come in with the sheet. They're all looking for this guy in a jumpsuit and a mask. And he just walks up to Ace in a sheet, and Ace is like, "Listen, I think trick or treat's canceled."
just just
And Michael just kills him,
just where?
just right out on the street. The cops have gone to investigate the other body. Ace is like feels safer, and then sheet ghost. Surprise!
Kate can be our scream queen.
Yes, we gotta give Michael a little bit of whimsy. So he stabs Ace and then uses the sheet from the sheet ghost to like strangle Kate to death.
Perfect.
And yeah, I think he can power walk the others down pretty much. Like the other three.
I need somebody. I need him to end up on Bill's lawn somehow so that he has a reason to kill Bill.
Well, that's because Lori went there.
True. Good point.
So he will be stepping on her lawn shortly.
That can be at the end. Cool. So, Jane was with Kate and Ace.
Yeah.
I think she would be next, and then we can get Aladi and Michaela, who are just out exploring. They probably are the ones that found Mia's body behind the house.
Yeah.
They're looking at the picture and they're like, "This is beautiful. Like, I can't believe she
Yeah.
died."
It's like
But
this
this is
belongs
great.
This belongs in an art museum or a gallery, my god.
They're like taking pictures of it and shit.
Yeah.
um, okay. So Jane gets strangled, or Kate gets strangled with the sheet. Jane,
Jane goes and hides, but she thinks she's safe, like she's hiding behind a tree or something.
but her ass is
She goes
just
to
too
like,
thick.
yeah, she goes to peek out. Michael's like right there as he does, his mask is like right there. So she turns around. It's just like nose to nose.
Right. Uh, I imagine they're back there looking at Nia's picture or Nia's tag, taking pictures of it. Michael shows up, and they're just like, "That's the guy in the picture," and then he
Legit,
just gets them both.
just legit replicates it with Elodie. Michaela has her book out and she's like trying to cast some shit on him. He just turns down around to stab her and she like holds up the book. The knife goes straight through the book and she's like looking at the edge and just like lets go and takes off running. But my god,
He just power
dude's been
walks.
he's been power walking to the 80s since he was born.
All right.
At which point I feel like we need to get into a firefight between, you know, Leon and Jill are just shooting away.
Hold on. So Bill, or not Bill, sorry. Leon and Jill.
Yep.
Michaela's running away. She runs out from behind Yunjin's house, screaming that Elodie just got murdered. Gets Leon and Jill's attention. They see this man power walking behind her. They start firing. It's stormtroopers in Star Wars. They can't hit a shot. They maybe get one or two, and it's just like off of his shoulders and shit. And then he goes and kills them.
Yeah. It's one of those where they take a bunch of shots and then they don't see him anymore for some reason. And they're like, where did he go? And then he's magically like, him.
Perfect. Michaela's still running.
Mm-hmm. She she makes the mistake of stepping on Bill's lawn.
That's what I was thinking. Bill tells her to back up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "There's a guy out there who's gonna kill me." He's like, "I don't care." And then Michael comes up and
kills kills Michaela and throws her body on his lawn.
at which point Bill starts taking shots at Michael.
Bill rises from the patio chair, shotgun in hand.
Lori now realizes that there was indeed somebody.
Yes. Still can't see him, but she knows there's something amiss. She
Oh,
tells
I was gonna say she sees him. This is where she screams. Tap shows up
oh yeah.
and it's like,
She's
Tap's
she
just
just
like, "Come
tells
with me if you want to live."
she just tells Victor to run.
Victor
Victor just
just takes off
yeets
down
out
the
of a
street.
window.
Just but this could be so if Lori sees Bill just get absolutely murdered by this guy.
It's time for that classic scene of her closing a door, slamming into it with her face pressed against it, and then screaming.
Tap somehow broke into the house without Bill noticing.
Yeah, Tap has been collecting the bodies like on his board and he figured out where he is finally. This is where he's heading. Tap is in the house.
Cuz he knows that Michael's actually after Lori, so if he found out where Lori went,
Yes.
Lori's the last one alive. She's pressed up against the door, taps behind her, just like reaches for her shoulder. She fucking screams. She was not anticipating anybody being in the house. And Tap's just like, tells her don't fucking scream.
Yeah.
And that he's been following the guy, trying to capture him to go back into the asylum. And
He works for Mr. Herman Carter.
that was his name, wasn't it?
What?
Was that the guy's name? The doctor?
The DPD doctor.
Oh, okay.
He's works for Mr. Herman Carter. He's trying to take him back.
Michael hears Tap's voice, recognizes it, and is like, oh shit, and runs. And then we can end there with both of them alive.
No, they gotta fight with him a little bit.
Okay. What do you want?
Uh, Obviously has to break down the door. Like
I mean,
the
do we want Tap to not show up yet? He's in the house, but Lori doesn't know yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So Michael goes up. We get the classic scene, and she's screaming like a son of a bitch.
She's running upstairs. She's throwing shit down the stairs. He is unfazed.
Yeah,
She as soon as he's about to stab her, she slams a door in his face. The knife goes through the door. It gets stuck for a minute. He has to pry it out, gives her time to run, but
yep,
she's trapped herself into a room. There's a bathroom with a window. She thinks she might be able to climb out, but it's also 2 stories.
yeah. I'm just imagining it's Bill's house, so, just all the shit that she's
Oh
going
my
through.
god,
Like,
all the weapons.
yeah,
She has so much
she
to
like
choose
doesn't
from.
know she doesn't know how to shoot a handgun, so she's just like throwing it at his face.
There's a gnome.
Yeah.
She hits him over the head with Noam Chomsky.
So obviously she doesn't have her knitting needles, but she might be able to find like an army knife or something. So like he comes in to stab her. She's trying to go out the window. He pulls her out and she whips around like and stabs him with the army knife.
He's just overly dramatic.
Mhm.
She jumps out the window. She lands like a cat on her feet because she is the she is the ingenue.
What are you talking about? Her fall gets broken by Michaela's body.
Oh my god. That's horrifying.
Uh at which point Tap might come out and rescue her like we got to get you out of here. I know what's wrong with this man. They just light the whole house on fire like he's a spider. Like,
I
I'm sorry, the
think
whole house has to go.
I think that's actually how it ends with so the new movie came out this year, right?
Mhm.
The one before it, I think that's how they actually ended it.
Wait, Jesus.
What?
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's been 3 years. I haven't seen it either. Everybody knows how it ends.
I didn't even get to go through the haunted house with that one.
There was a Myers haunted house?
Yes. It was too long though. It was like 3 hours long in September.
What year?
It was like 2 years
Oh,
ago-ish.
okay. I was
Almost.
like, I don't remember that.
This is the first time I ever went. They had a Myers house and
Uh,
it was like 3 hours always.
But yeah, they trap him in the house to burn it, and that's where Halloween Kills starts.
Hmm.
That's why the firemen show up at the opening scene.
Oh, there we go. They
uh,
light the house on fire, and then they watch it burn down and just assume that it did the job.
Perfect.
It's like the one inept guard trope. Like, surely this is exactly what was needed. Obvious to be continued. We need to make a list of all the killers that have TBD or TBC.
For all of our sequels.
Yeah.
I know Huntress is one.
Trapper was one.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
This will require a lot of research to go back on.
it's like we straight up killed Nurse. Spirit was still alive.
But I wasn't really a to be continued either.
It was kind of a peaceful ending.
Yeah.
Same with Wraith. Poor guy. He wasn't even trying to kill anybody. It's that goddamn bus window.
We have a sequel where Wraith just finally accepts that everyone around him dies, and he's like, I'll just control it and do it myself then.
Wraith goes to war against the bus.
It's just him at the crusher.
Yes, Wraith returns to his previous place of employment to put down the bus that killed so many innocent people.
Alright. Well, let's recap our movie real quick.
And technically Legion was a to be continued because Susie and Julie made it
Oh, yeah.
and we're enemies now
That's right. They were.
because Susie is now Legion with her little group.
Yeah. Alright. So, it's Halloween night in Haddonfield. We have Lori, Quentin, Fung, Nancy, Steve, and Cheryl who decide that they're going to watch some scary movies together. Quentin says, Hey, you know what's great with a scary movie? Popcorn. I'll go make some. So Quentin goes off to make popcorn. As soon as he leaves the room, Steve just leans into the rest of the group and is just like, Does Quentin look different? And then Fung's like, No, what are you talking about? And Steve's like, No, he's like really hot now. And Nancy's like, Excuse me? And Steve's like, Well, not as hot as you. Trying to recover. Uh and in the process of trying to recover from saying that Quentin was hot and upsetting Nancy, Steve and Nancy decide to wander off where he can make it up to her. Um, Quentin never returns with popcorn. In fact, he actually just gets choked and stabbed very quietly in the kitchen. Steve and Nancy, while they are upstairs boinking, also just any noises that the others hear from downstairs they're just gonna think that it's something else.
Mhm.
So any screams, any moans, any groans, Steve and Nancy are just having a good time. Not dying. Definitely not dying. But they are. Anyway, it's been a while. Cheryl keeps looking out the window and talking about seeing some guy out there just watching them. And Lori's just like, Will you stop that? Nobody's out there. Just come watch the movie. And Cheryl's like, No, somebody's out there. And then Fung's like, Hey, Quinn's been a while. I'm going to go check on him. As soon as Fung goes into the kitchen, Cheryl's like, Hey, that guy left. And goes to sit down with Lori. Uh, when Fung goes to check on Quentin, she also does not return. I forget, did Cheryl actually find their bodies and then leave to go call the cops, or does she just
Uh,
decide to call the cops because some weird guy's standing
I
outside?
think he just decided to go call the cops.
Okay. So Cheryl's just like, hey. She looks out the window and sees the guy again. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. She just decides to go to call the cops. The guy's creepy. Not good vibes. But the phone line is cut. And so she's like, hey, I can't call the cops. So I'm actually going to go across the street and call. So she goes across the street to Elodie's house, where Michaela and Felix are also there. Their phone line's also not working, which is really suspicious, but Felix has a fancy new cell phone. So she uses that to call the cops. And she's like, thanks, guys. I'm going to make sure that Lori's not alone. And as she's walking back, she runs into Michael and she graciously accepts death
Yeah.
as he stabs her. So she never makes it back to Lori's place. Lori's just enjoying the movie. None of her friends are into it. She's like, fine, I'll have fun with the movie.
That's the only thing that keeps Victor from screaming is just the horror movies, the slashers.
Oh god. Meg is out jogging, and as she goes past Bill's house, Michael's there, stabs her, dumps her on the sidewalk. The boys, David, Ash, Jeff, and Ace, are all over at, we'll call it Ace's house, down in the basement, watching movies, revving chainsaws, having drinks, a good old time. They're very loud. Their neighbor Yunjin can't tolerate it. She hates it. So she goes over, she's banging on the door, yelling at them to keep it quiet. It's the middle of the night. They need to be courteous of their other neighbors. They don't hear her at all. They don't even acknowledge her existence, which pisses her off even more. So when she walks back to her place, she sees this guy just standing across the street, staring at her. And she's just like, what are you looking at? Go get a fucking job. He still keeps staring at her. And she's just like, do you have a problem? And he just keeps staring at her. And she's like, listen here. She crosses the street to go tell him what's what. And as soon as she gets yeah,
Click, click.
the click, 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 as she goes across really quickly. And as soon as she gets there, he grabs her, picks her up, chokes her, stabs her in the gut, discards her next to Meg's body. He sees the house that she came from, and in the window, he sees another lady just upstairs. And his target has been marked for later. Uh, all of the screams outside, plus the fact that Cheryl had recently been over to call the cops, has Elodie, Michaela, and Felix very suspicious. So they go to investigate and see Meg and Yunjin's bodies discarded in front of Bill's place. Bill's been sitting out on his porch the whole time. He actually
Mhm.
saw both murders take place, but you know, the guy's making sure that they weren't on his lawn, and it's not his business. So he's not worried about it. But of course, when they see that, they're just like, what is happening here? And he's just like, some guy came and stabbed them. They're like, you didn't do anything? And he's like, not my problem. To which Felix is like, what do you mean it's not your problem? Goes all white knight, starts to approach Bill. Bill pulls up the shotgun to warn him to get off the lawn. And Felix just like, you can't just let someone murder in front of your lawn and not do anything about it. And Bill takes a warning shot at Felix's foot. With him being injured, uh, Elodie and Michaela very quickly take Felix over to Claudette's because they're like, surely she knows how to do something with this
Yeah.
while we wait for like an ambulance or whatever. So they drop Felix off and they go around to keep investigating like what's happening, who murdered those two bodies, because there are curious gals.
Yeah.
Nia works at a grocery store and recently had to put up with a Karen, one of the worst Karens ever. A Karen by the name of Yunjin. And as payback, Nia thought it would be very funny if she found out where this Karen lived and then went and tagged her place. And so she does. She shows up in on Lambkin Lane in Haddonfield and finds this lady's house and also sees her get stabbed from across the street and thinks, wow, that's poetic.
Mhm.
I'm going to paint that on her house. Which is very dark. um, but Nia proceeds to paint. As she's painting, Michael ends up showing up behind her, watching her paint. He recognizes the scene and he's like, you know what? This is good. This is a really good picture. I really like this. She sees him. She starts to stop. He just shakes his head, looks at the picture, nods, and she just hesitantly keeps going. But once she's finished, He stabs her so that she can tell no one. The boys having their good old night, watching some scary shows and stuff on TV. The news comes on of an alert of a man who has escaped an asylum and made his way over to the nearby Haddonfield. Everyone should be on the lookout for Michael Myers, a very dangerous individual. And the boys are like, hey, that's here. Let's make sure he doesn't mess with anybody. So they leave. Uh, David takes his shirt off, ready to fight. Ace grabs his mace. Ash grabs his chainsaw. Jeff straps on a cake because they're going to need beer for this. And they go outside and they see this guy walking down the street and they're like, that's him! Get him! And David takes off running. As David is running straight at Michael, Michael's just standing there, pretty much clotheslines him by grabbing him at the throat, picks him up, chokes him, stabs him, discards his body. As soon as this happens, Jeff and Ace slow down. Ash does not. Ash barrels forward, coming at him. He's not scared of anything. In fact, Ash has a reason to fight. Because the last words you hear Ash say is, I heard a lot of people are calling you daddy. What was the whole line? I only put the first half.
I heard a lot of people are calling you daddy, called me daddy. Let's tangle. That's tango.
At which point, Michael grabs Ash by the base of the chainsaw, rips his arm off of it, and then uses said chainsaw to mow Ash down the middle and kill him. Jeff and Ace have fully stopped, watching in horror and amazement as this is happening to their friend. And once Michael is finished with Ash and turns his attention toward them, they take off running. Poor Jeff, both out of shape and carrying a cake, will not make it as far as Ace. So Jeff gets caught, gets pulled back, knocked to the ground like a turtle. Excuse me, like a turtle.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been drinking sparkling water, so um like a turtle, where he will be stomped and stabbed by Michael, while Ace runs off to go to Dwight's house to give him the bad news. While Jeff's being murdered, or shortly as Michael is finishing up murdering Jeff, Zarina, who he had targeted earlier, is leaving to go for work. She has a night shift. She got called in, and as she's stepping outside and sees the bodies, before she has a chance to really scream, Michael's there to silence her. And Tap is watching from his car, not yet intervening, but taking careful note of what Michael is doing and where he plans to be next.
He's got to ambush him. That's
Exactly.
the only way to defeat evil incarnate.
So he will not interrupt, but he is witnessing all of this. Um, Ace gets to Dwight's house, delivers the bad news that David has been killed and Dwight is a widower, unfortunately. Dwight is distraught. Kate is comforting him. All Huey heard is there's a man who murdered David and he's on his way. To which Huey says, we're going to fight him. Kate, where's your hairspray? Throws her a lighter. Grabs a fire extinguisher, passes it to Jane. Grabs a knife for herself. When Michael shows up, Dwight's just like, I can't let you get away with this. This is for David, and runs at him. But of course, Dwight is a little baby. He is small boy, and uh, gets probably clotheslined in a similar way that David did. Honestly,
Well, he
uh,
got
oh, he got
he
maced.
yeah, he spooked Ace and Ace maced him on accident,
That's
so he's
true.
just like,
So he can't fight at all.
yeah.
Yeah, because Ace was going to mace Michael, but nobody expected Dwight to just run straight at him, so he got in the
Yeah.
way. That's right. But Michael, while Dwight is maced and crying, and Michael's just gonna stab him, uh, and then throw Dwight toward Kate and Jane. Yui takes this opportunity to get a stab on his shoulder, She's the first one to get a shot on him, but she does die as a result because while she's close enough to stab him, I mean, she's close enough to also get stabbed, and
Yes.
his is more lethal. As he discards Yui, Kate fires the hairspray because Yui's last words were, "Get the hairspray now," as she's being choked. So Kate hairspray lighters him. Michael is caught on fire, which does stun him and buys time for Kate, Jane, and Ace to make a run for safety. Good night, Fox. Thank you for being here. I forget everything that happened.
They they go over to Lori's house where Leon and Jill had met up with Lori. Like, and you say you heard nothing. You had no idea that there were 3 dead bodies inside of your 4 dead
Four.
bodies inside of your house, 1 directly outside of your house, and Lori's like, "No, I had no idea that anything was wrong," and they're like, "She's the fucking killer,"
Right.
until they all run over and they're like, "Holy shit, this guy," and then they're like, "Oh," so then they run across and Michael has vanished.
Right. Lori takes Victor and goes over to Bill's house for safety. And while Michael has vanished, he's actually gone over to Claudette's house because he saw that's where they carried off the guy with no foot. I thought that's where he can get some help. Not from the people inside, but surely they have something for the burns. And as
Got
there was,
stim packs in there.
yes. So he doesn't want their help. In fact, he'd rather they not be there. So when they are there, he just kills them all. And so that's Felix, who just can't fight back. Claudette, who also really can't fight. Honestly,
Yeah.
she's a delicate flower. Jake could put up a little bit of fight, but stands absolutely no chance. Same with Adam, a little bit of fight, no chance at all. Ace, Kate, and Jane are waiting outside of what they consider the safety of the Strode house because the cops are on high alert and their car's right there. A sheet ghost shows up, stands next to Ace, and Ace just goes, "Listen, pal, I think Halloween's probably over right now. There's some crazy shit happening." And as he's talking, the sheet ghost stabs him and uh, makes sure he's dead. Kate, standing next to him, screams at the sight of Ace getting stabbed. The sheet ghost then takes off the sheet, revealing it was Michael all along, and strangles Kate with the sheet. Jane runs and hides, um, but the trees in the suburbs are just not thick enough for the thickening of her ass.
They can't hide her trunk.
And as she's hiding behind a tree, she the camera's close up on her. And you just see her slowly turn around to another side of the tree, and then Michael is right there, and she dies. Elodie and Michaela, intrigued by all of the murder that is happening, decide to be their own sort of sleuths. They find Nia's body behind Yunjin's house, and they see the picture, and they're like, "Wow, this is a great painting. It's very sad she had to die." They're going kind of taking pictures of it, and as they're taking pictures of it, Michael shows up, cured from his burns, and recreates the scene of killing Yunjin with Elodie. Uh,
Just imagine he just smells strongly of aloe vera at that point.
something. Um, Stabs Elodie, then goes for Michaela, who pulls out her book just in time. The knife goes through the book, saving her and buying her time to drop the book and run. So she's running and screaming. Leon and Jill notice that she comes running out from behind the house, and she's just like, "He's here, it's the killer," as one does. Then Leon and Jill see Michael power walking behind Michaela.
This is moonwalking. He's not even walking like facing her. Just
Just moonwalking out behind the house. They start taking shots at him, and they miss many. They hit a couple, none lethal. There's gun smoke everywhere, and as it clears, Michael's gone. And they take a moment to be like, "What the? How did he fucking vanish?" And then all of a sudden, he just appears next to them, and one by one, just chokes them, stabs them, discards them away.
Mhm.
Michaela's still running. She gets to Bill's lawn, because that's the last beacon of safety. Bill's been out there the whole time. He obviously knew this guy. The guy didn't kill him earlier, so safest place to be is obviously Bill's. But as soon as she steps on the lawn, Bill stands up, cocks his shotgun, tells her to back up, and she's like, "There's a guy out there murdering everybody." And Bill's just like, "Well, stay off of my lawn. I don't want the business over here." Michael shows up anyway, murders Michaela, discards him on Bill's lawn. At which point, Bill's just like, "Well, now it's my business." Rises with his shotgun, ready to fight before he has a chance to, I guess, shoot Michael. Maybe he does shoot Michael, and then Michael just staggers a little bit or something. um.
It's like
Anyway,
hitting him with a fluffy bunny toy.
right. He actually has a bulletproof vest underneath everything, and he was
It's
fully prepared for this night.
Michael has literally worked out so much that his muscles are like steel.
They're Kevlar.
Yeah, it's just Kevlar muscles. He's that well built. He's just a slab.
um, so Michael just saunters right up to Bill and kills him right on his own porch. At this point, Lori yells at Victor to run away home. And Victor pounces out the window and scurries down the street. And then Lori runs into Bill's house, slamming the door. She's leaning up against it. She can hear the breathing on the other side. And then the door opens. And instead of like locking it or anything, she just takes off running through the house, using everything she can get her hands on as a weapon, including a handgun that she doesn't know how to shoot, so it's a projectile of its own now that she can throw at him, lamps, a gnome, literally anything she could find in Bill's house that can possibly slow this guy down, she throws it. She runs upstairs. Just as he's about to stab her, she slams a door. The knife goes through the door. This is buying her a little bit of time. She is in a bedroom, but there's a bathroom and there's a window, and she can maybe get out. There's an army knife on the nightstand next to the bed, or because Bill's always armed. She grabs the army knife. She makes her way for the bathroom window, and as she's starting to go out, Michael goes to grab her. She stabs him in the arm with the army knife, pun intended, and this causes him to release her, buys her enough time to get out the window. She lands softly on Michaela's body, so her fall has been broken. And as she starts to run, Tap shows up and is just like, "Hey, hi, I'm Detective Tap. I've been following this guy. I'm trying to catch him. Stay with me. You'll be safe." And she's like, "He's in the house." And he's like, "He's in the house? Perfect." Pulls out a gasoline tank and a lighter, I guess. And Tap's just like, "We gotta burn the place down." And Lori's on board.
We know how much gunpowder Bill's got in that house.
Oh my god, it would
You just
explode.
you just throw one match in there and it's like fucking fireworks. The whole
Right?
thing just explodes.
uh
His entire house is a Michael Bay film waiting to happen.
all right. I love that. The whole place just a bomb. To be continued.
Yep. There we go.
Beautiful.
So next week is for sure Demodog.
Yes.